Hello Bhaiya Bahan, how are you? Are you fine? Very good. Today we are here to discuss about our childhood. Do you know what we do in our childhood? We enjoy our childhood. We have no any tension at all. We are careless, but when we become younger and younger and younger, and when we are become adult, our tension starts. Have you seen in India, children are working in small shops? Why are they working? They are working for money. It means what? They must be poor. And we all know that poverty stops our all progress. Poverty stops our education. Poverty stops everything in our life. It only gives us tension. In poverty, we can't do any work easily. We have to depend on someone. So, my dear, if we are poor, our parents are unable to provide us proper education and proper things in our life. Can you say which lesson we are going to read today? Yes, very nice. We are going to read today Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. My dear, at first we should discuss what is lost spring. Spring here denotes, we can say, spring season. In spring season, what happens? In spring season, the environment becomes green, all the trees becomes green, everywhere there will be greenery, and the wind and the air which blows in our surroundings, we feel good. Suppose there is autumn season. What happens in the autumn season? Leaves fall from the trees. Grass becomes yellow. Wind becomes rough. In the same way, in our life, if we lost our childhood, and in childhood, if we are engaged for some work to earn some money, it means what? It means our days of happiness is lost. As I told you earlier, childhood is the age to enjoy. Childhood is the age to live a careless life. And when we start earning in our childhood, we lost our spring, we lost our happiness. Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood has been written by Annie Jung. She was born on 1 January 1944. In the book, the date of birth is wrong. Here the date of birth is 1964. But the correct date of birth of Annie Jung is 1st January 1944. She was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. Annie Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad, and has authored several books. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring: Stories of Stolen Childhood. Here she analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. In this story, we are going to see about our society. Our society is divided between two parts, between two groups, rich men and poor men. In this story, Annie Jung is trying to focus on a boy who has come from Dhaka, Bangladesh to India in search of food, and that boy is Rage Pickers. In this story, we are going to read two stories. The first story is about a boy whose name is Sahibe Alam. He wants to be the master of himself. And second story is about a boy whose name is Mukesh. He is a bangle maker in Firozabad. We all know Firozabad is in UP state in Uttar Pradesh, and Firozabad is famous for bangle making. And we all know that what is the importance of bangles in India. In the very first story, we are going to read about a boy whose name is whose name is Sahibe Alam. What is the meaning of Sahibe Alam? The meaning of Sahibe Alam is the Lord of Universe. But see the condition of this boy. This boy is collecting dirty materials from the heap of garbage. This boy searches some things in the garbage dumps to live his life smoothly. Here you will see this boy has come from Dhaka, Bangladesh in search of bread in India. And what happened there in Dhaka, Bangladesh, so that they shifted to India. See the lesson and listen to me very carefully. Story starts with, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Here I stands for Sahibe Alam, the narrator of this story. Why do you do this? I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Sahib left his home long ago, set amidst the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. His mother tells him that's why they left looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. In this paragraph we see, every morning the writer sees a young rage picker boy who visits the garbage dump near her house and searches for gold in it. The writer says that he searches for gold ironically, because although the garbage dump is full of useless, thrown away things, still he shuffles it so minutely as if he will get something as precious as gold from it. The boy's name is Saheb. His home in Dhaka was in the middle of lush green fields. They had left it many years ago, and he does not remember it anymore. His mother had told him that there were many storms which destroyed their homes and fields. So they left home and shifted to the cities in search of gold. The writer again says, looking for gold in the big city. Gold here refers to something precious which was not available in their hometown. Things like shoes, money, bags, etc. for the children, and food, clothing, shelter as means of survival for their parents. The boy searches for such precious things in the garbage dumps. One day, the writer questions Saheb and asks him the reason for shuffling through the garbage. In this paragraph, we have seen a boy whose name is Saheb came from Dhaka, Bangladesh to India in search of gold. Here gold we see, here gold means he is in search of bags, he is in search of books, he is in search of shoes, etc. Here there are some words, you can write it. The first word is spring. Here spring means spring season. Second word is encounter. Encounter means come across. Next word is scrounging. Scrounging means looking out or searching for something. Next word is garbage. Garbage means rubbish, dirty materials. Dumps. Dumps means heaps of rubbish. Set. Set means situated or located. Other word is amidst. Amidst means among. Distant. Distant means far off. Memory. Memory means recollection. Storms. Storms means roaring sea waves. And in this way, we have seen in this paragraph the boy who has come from Dhaka, Bangladesh to India in search of bread, in search of bags, in search of books, in search of bread, etc. for survival. For poor men, the first thing how to survive on this earth. And when they survive on this earth, they can continue their life with bread, with bags, with books, etc. Next paragraph. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. Go to school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. If I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. In this paragraph, we see Saheb replies to the writer that he has nothing else to do other than rage picking. The writer suggests that he should go to school. She realizes that her advice is meaningless for the poor boy. He replies that there are no schools in the area where he lives. He also assures her that he will go to school when one is built near his house. The writer asks him jokingly that if she opened a school, would he attend it? Now some words from this paragraph. Write down. Swept away means uprooted. Else means any other thing. Mutters means grumbles. Glibly means without caring. Realizing means feeling. Immediately means at once. Hollow means empty. Sound means appear. Half joking means not seriously or light hearted. So, in this paragraph, we have seen the boy said that he has nothing else to do except rage picking. Because, my dear, for poor men, there is no option in their life. They born in poverty and they die in poverty. Whatever their parents do, the children also do the same thing. Why? Due to the lack of money, they cannot go ahead. And my dear, money is very important in our life. If we have no money, we are like dead wall. We cannot live a smooth life. We cannot live a city life, and there will be question mark on our survival. See the next paragraph. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Here we see, after some days, Sahib says that he would join the writer's school, and after a few days, he runs up to her to ask whether her school is ready. The writer replied that it takes a lot of time to build a school. She felt ashamed at making a false promise. She had said this as a joke and had never intended to open a school, so she felt ashamed of herself. Sahib was not hurt because he was used to such false promises as they existed in large numbers in his empty world. He was surrounded by such false promises made by everyone around him. His world was empty, as no promise made to Sahib was ever fulfilled. The poor man's promises are never fulfilled, as we see here. In this paragraph, the words are broadly. Broadly means widely. Embarrassed means confused. Abound means full of or found in plenty. Bleak means joyless, cheerless. These are the words from this paragraph. Next. After months of knowing him, I asked him his name. Sahib-e Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe, he would have a hard time believing it. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. Here we see the writer had known Sahib for a few months. When she asked him his name, he replied as if he was making an announcement that his name was Sahib-e Alam. The writer thought that the boy did not know the meaning of his name, and if he came to know that his name meant Lord of the universe, he would not be able to believe it. His name was opposite to his life. He went around the streets with a group of friends. It was like an army of boys who did not wear any footwear. They appeared in the morning like the morning birds and disappeared at noon. The writer could recognize all of them as she had been seeing them for the past few months. Here there are some words you can write. The word is Sahibe Alam. It means Lord of the universe. Lord. Lord means master. Hard time means difficult time. Unaware means not realizing. Represents means stands for. Roams means wanders. Barefoot without shoes. Appear means look or seem. Disappear means out of sight. Next paragraph. Why aren't you wearing chappals? I asked one. My mother did not bring them down from the shelf, he answers simply. Here the writer again asks question from Sahibe Alam and other boys who were collecting dirty materials from the garbage dumps. The writer asked one of them that why was he not wearing any footwear? The boy simply replied that his mother did not get them down from the shelf. As they were beyond his reach, he did not wear them. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another who is wearing shoes that do not match. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. I want shoes, says a third boy who has never owned a pair all his life. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities, on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot. Is one explanation. I wonder if this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. In this paragraph we see another boy who was wearing a different shoe in each foot said that even if his mother would have given him the footwear, he would have thrown it away. He meant that the boy was not wearing footwear because he did not want to wear one. The writer asked the second boy the reason for wearing a different shoe in each foot. He did not reply and shuffled his feet as he tried to hide the shoes. A third boy spoke that he was eager to get a pair of shoes as he had never owned one all his life. The writer takes the example of shoes to highlight the condition of these boys. They search the garbage dumps looking for such precious things. She further tells us that as she travelled across the country, she had seen many children walking barefoot in the cities as well as the villages. They reasoned that they were barefoot not due to lack of money to buy footwear, but being barefoot was a tradition for them. The writer wondered and concluded that the reason of it being a tradition was a mere excuse to hide the fact that they were so poor that they could not afford footwear. In this paragraph, There are some words you can write. Self. Here self means self in the wall. Next word is match. Match means equal, identical. Comment. Comment means pass a remark. Shuffles means keep shifting. Lack means shortage. Tradition means custom. Explanation means justification, interpretation. Wonder, surprised. These are the words from this paragraph. Now, next paragraph. I remember a story. I remember a story a man from Udupi once told me. As a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation. In the backyard where lived the new priest, there were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in a grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Let me never lose them, the goddess had granted his prayer. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes, but many others like the rage pickers in my neighborhood remained shoeless. Here in this paragraph we see the writer narrates a story told to her by a man from Udupi. Udupi is a town in Karnataka. When he was a young boy, he would walk to his school. On the way, he would cross a temple where his father worked as a priest. He would stop at the temple and pray to God to bless him with a pair of shoes. After 30 years, the writer visited the town and the temple. Now the place was nearly empty. The new priest lived in the backyard of the temple. Plastic chairs in red and white color were kept there. A young boy came running. He was wearing grey colored school uniform, socks and shoes. He had a school bag hung on his shoulders. He threw it on the bed and ran away. The writer wants to say that the financial position of the priest at the temple had improved over the last 30 years. Now he could afford shoes for these children. She was reminded of another boy who got a pair of shoes. He prayed to the goddess that he may never lose the shoes that he had got. The goddess had granted his prayer as the boy never lost his footwear. This shows us that the underprivileged value anything that they get because they have been longing for it. In this paragraph, you can write some words. The word is excuse. Excuse means pretext. Perpetual means never ending, or you can say permanent. Next word is state. State means condition, position. Udupi. Udupi, a town in Karnataka. Past means crossing in front of. Briefly means for a short time. Drowned means submerged. Desolation means lying waste. Backyard means open space at the back. Panting means breathing heavily with mouth open. Folding bed, bed that can be folded after its use. Granted means accepted. Rage pickers means those who pick up rags. Shoeless means without shoes. Now, next paragraph. My acquaintance with the barefoot rage pickers leads me to Simapuri, a place on periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it, metaphorically. Those who live here are squatters who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. Saheb's family is among them. Simapuri was then a wilderness. It still is, but it is no longer empty. In structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage, or running water, live 10,000 rage pickers. In this paragraph, the writer describes the area where these rage picker boys live. Simapuri, located on the outskirts of Delhi, was very different from the capital of the country. In 1971, when these rage pickers had migrated from Bangladesh, the area had been a wasteland. Simapuri was still a wasteland, but now it was not empty, as almost 10,000 rage pickers lived there in structures made of mud with roofs made of tin, sheets of thin sheets of tin or plastic material called tarpaulin. There was no sewage, drainage, or running water facility in Simapuri. They lived in unhygienic conditions. It was a piece of wasteland where the garbage of the city was collected. These people had started living there illegally. Here there are some words, you can copy it. First word is acquaintance, means introduction. Periphery means outskirts. Metaphorically means symbolically. Squatters means those who settle down illegally. Wilderness means wasteland. Structures means molds. Tarpaulin means rough and coarse waterproof cloth. Devoid means without. Sewage means drainage system for dirty water. Drainage means drain system. Identity means recognition. I think today we stop here. Next day we shall continue this chapter again. And if you will have any problem in these paragraphs, you will tell me on the next day, and then I will try to clear it before you. So your homework is prepare question answer from the taught paragraphs, and you also try to do self study at your home and try to teach this lesson inside the class. Try to teach this lesson to any other boys who are needy for us. So thank you. Have a nice day for today.